kind of get his presentation going. Gary Henson has been a pioneer in the coaching industry. He started his practice joining the coaching industry over 30 years ago. So we're super excited to have his expertise join us today. He's worked with over 500 different organizations in trying to improve their teamwork and providing profitable results. He's an industry expert as a business coach. Average client works with him for almost 2 years, which is awesome. I would love to have those long engagements. And they always have great testimonials about working with Gary and the results that he provides for them. So we're very excited to have you here, Gary. And you're my neighbor here in Sacramento.
Yep.
And without further ado, I think all of us, the board members, are going to kind of turn off our videos so we don't distract people visually and let you at it. And for those of you participating, you guys, same drill. Please put your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box, whatever works, either or. All of the board members will be monitoring them for Gary so he can concentrate on the work. And Gary knows we'll pop in here and there if we have a question that we want to get to. And other than that, we'll let you start. Thanks, Gary.
Here we go. Hello, ICF Orange County. Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure it is. I was telling some of your leaders here earlier this morning that I've done about 8 or 10 of the same presentations at different ICF chapters, not only in this country, but outside of the country. And I'm very excited to be here and share this information with you today. So thanks for having me. I love doing this kind of work, and I love sharing what I've learned in over 30 years of being a professional full-time business coach and running a business coaching company here at businesscoach.com. So I want to warn you that some of this material may sound a little bit familiar to you. You might be thinking to yourself, I know this, I do this, and I already know this material. And kind of lose track of where you are. So stay focused and start thinking of yourself as, what can I get out of today's presentation? Is there a nugget or 2 or 3 or 4? And maybe think of today's presentation as the kind of thing that maybe you paid $500 or $1,000 or even $2,000 for. What kind of thinking would you have? What kind of listening? What kind of preparation and notes would you be taking? If you heard a presentation and it sounded familiar to you, but yet you'd ask yourself, am I really doing this? Am I applying what he's saying today in my coaching business? Now, you'll hear me oftentimes use the word business when it refers to coaching business. I don't call myself a coaching practice, it's coaching business. I think like an entrepreneur, I operate like an entrepreneur, and that's one of the first things we want to talk about today, is that we want to be thinking in the domain of how do entrepreneurs think and what kind of entrepreneurial approach can I take to my coaching business, not my coaching practice, my coaching business. And that's the way entrepreneurs think, and that's the way we should think. You see, for me, there's a couple of really obvious things that get overlooked oftentimes in the coaching industry. First of all, we get stuck so much in the mindset of being a great coach and coaching people and making a difference for other people. And I am certainly all about that. I want you to know that that's the reason why 31 years ago, I made the choice, once I learned a little bit about business coaching and found out the transformational opportunities for people to make a difference and shift their lives completely. I fell head over heels in love with coaching and have never changed my mindset, never changed my thinking one day since then. So making a difference for people is really important for me. But if we're not thinking like an entrepreneur, if we're not operating our coaching business like an entrepreneur, we can fall short of the main goal, and that is to also to make money. It's not one or the other, making a difference for people or having having an impact in people's lives, or making a handsome income. You can do both. And I want you to think from the place today, listen from the place today of, what can I gain today that I can make a difference for people and I can make a handsome living as well. Now I'm going to introduce some tools today that you can use right away. You don't have to wait to use these. You can put them into, you can implement them right away. And I promise that I will deliver some really powerful tools. Everything that I'm teaching today, I've done myself. We've had thousands of students here at businesscoach.com come through our programs. We have several levels of programs. I'll be talking about those at the very end if we have time. But this is not something that I learned out of a book or learned from a bunch of the other trainers and teachers around the industry and around the world. I've been involved with just about every major movement in the coaching industry at one level or another over the last 30 years. And one of the things that I've learned is that that business owners and leaders are really interested in getting a hefty return on their investment. So on one hand, we want to make a difference for people. On another hand, we have bills to pay. We want to make sure that we have the appropriate income that we can repay ourselves and pay ourselves handsomely for what we do. And at the same time, what I'm finding is that working with business owners and leaders is two things. It's not awkward or difficult. You just have to know what they're looking for and how to work with owners and leaders of organizations. And secondly, the other thing is that they are looking to get a return on their investment. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do that, and I'm going to teach you how to set yourself up so you can win with leaders of organizations. But we got to have the mindset that you're going to create a niche, and you're going to work with business owners and leaders. And inside of that niche, you're going to provide them a nice return on their investment. One of the other things I want to really talk about here before we dive in is that I really, really love working with business people. As Karen said earlier, the working with business people and the average business person works with us from 20 to 24 months on a one-year agreement, and they usually extend it because they're getting results. So the mindset that we want to have is we want to make sure that we are delivering results for our people. And results can come in many, many different forms. We'll talk about that in a minute. But business owners are looking to get results out of the coaching relationship, and it's up to us to bring that results and have a lot of fun. I love working with business people. They're very oriented towards working together. Once you find someone that's coachable, and that's not always easy to do, but when you find people that are coachable, they're easy to work with, and they're eager to work with you because they need somebody else in their life that they can talk to. They need some other outside influence that can help them develop their business model. And we're going to talk all about that in just a minute. So very quickly, what I want to say is, what's the definition of business coaching? How would we define business coaching different than life coaching, personal coaching, executive coaching, and all the other forms of coaching that are out there? So one way we can define it is a coach is someone who gets you to do something that you don't want to do so you can be who you want to be. Let me say that again. A coach is someone who gets you to do something that you don't want to do so you can be who you want to be. Now, that's a quote from the famous football coach, Tom Landry. And one of the things that he says in this quote is that when people get up in the morning and when they make their list, in their mental list of things that they want to accomplish that day, one of them is not meeting with a coach and having somebody hold them accountable, push them in a direction that's not comfortable for them, and start asking questions of them that are interrupting their status quo of their day. So we need to be thinking in the domain of how can I transform that person's thought process? Not how can I bring a whole bunch of smart details to the table to work with businesses so that I can prove to them that I'm as smart or smarter than them. What we want to do is we want to bring something to the table that gets them to change the mindset that they have and start thinking differently. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So what we want to do is we want to have the mindset of not coming to a business owner or leader and saying, well, I have an MBA or a PhD or a business degree, or I used to own my own business, or my spouse and I own a business together, and I can bring some things to the table. We'll talk about that, and that's a form of consulting that we want to incorporate into the coaching process. But what our main objective is to make sure that they change the thinking process that they have and start to look at their business differently and leverage the relationship that they have with you so that they can start outperforming themselves and do a better job of being a business leader, a business owner, an entrepreneur. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to have an MBA or a BA or a PhD to be able to do that. Now, here's the thing. We teach our brand new coaches right out of the gate that have just taken any of our courses. We teach them that they're worth $500 an hour and that they should charge $500 an hour and roll that into a monthly retainer fee, a minimum of $2,000 per month for a smaller client, somebody who has less than 20 employees. And that they're worth that. And they don't have to have an MBA. They don't have to have a PhD. They don't even have to have a college degree or a degree, a business background. Because what they bring to the table is this change of thinking process. And I'm going to give you 3 quick tools. And this is, I believe this is in your handout. Some of you may have the handout for, and it's called Section 1. It's probably likely labeled at the top of the page, Section 1 handout. And there's 3 things that you can do for your clients that they can never, ever, ever do for themselves. Let me say that again. There's 3 things you can do for your clients that they'll never, ever be able to do for themselves. Okay, so I'm going to give you those 3 things. If you don't have the handout, I'm going to go just fast enough to keep the ball rolling. But if you have the handout, you can make notes right in the section there. The first thing that you can do for your client that they'll never, ever be able to do for themselves is you bring an outside objective opinion. You can write that in there right next to the first space on your form, or if you're taking notes, just write down, bring an outside objective opinion. Now, this may be understated by some people and it may be overstated by others, but I want to share with you, after working with over 500 different business organizations, not people, organizations. I work with the entire organization, starting with the leader, upper management, and then filter down into working with all the employees in a group setting. After working with 500 organizations, one of the things that's most commonly said to me when I ask my clients what they're looking for in developing our coach-client relationship, and these are business owners, business leaders, usually not startups and usually not home-based businesses. Usually they have employees. And that's where they really get stuck, not knowing how to manage their employees and their business at the same time. And oftentimes what they'll say to me is I need somebody to talk to. I can't talk to my 10% partner or my spouse or my sales manager or my operations manager or somebody who's senior in my organization, because I want to have somebody I can talk to that's going to bring an outside objective opinion, and they're going to share with me opportunities for me to understand something about my business that I can't understand on my own. And I want to get a 2-way dialogue going. And I have some ideas. I have some things I want to develop in my business, and I'm not sure if they make sense. So I need somebody to talk to. Now, if you're a housewife, if you've worked in a landscaping business, if you have, if you're a school teacher, if you're a stay-at-home dad, it doesn't make any difference. You have something to bring to the table. And when that person says, I've got this one business going and it's going really well. And we've been in business for 7 years. And now I want to start another business. You're right there to say to them, well, wait a minute. There's 335 million people in the United States of America. Are you sure you don't want to bring your product and service to more people before you start something else on the side? Are you sure that you don't want a different color, a different size, a different employee? Are you sure you want to take your top salesman and make him the sales manager? I'm not sure if that makes sense. So you bring an outside objective opinion, regardless of who you are. You bring an important part to the relationship, a two-way dialogue that they can have with somebody just like you that will help them walk through the issues that they're dealing with on a daily basis. So that's your first fill-in, outside objective opinion. The second one is you are a powerful accountability partner. Now, we can talk about this all day long, and I'm sure that any of us who have spent any amount of time at any level in coaching understand holding our clients accountable is significant. But in business, it's maybe a little bit different. And with business owners and leaders, maybe we want to look at this just a little bit differently from the standpoint of they need to know that when you ask them the question, did you do your assignment from last week? Did you read this book that I recommended that you read? Did you hire a CFO for your business or post for a new CFO for your business? Do you have job descriptions, org charts, core values, mission statement, regular all company meetings where all the employees get together? Do you have these things? They need an accountability partner to start making an action list of all those different things that they're not doing now. Put them in an action list and begin to start tackling those items one by one. And you are the chief accountability partner to make sure they are following through with all of those things. Now, I just said a mouthful. That's why I took a little sip of water. I just said a mouthful. So let me just go into details about what I just said. Typically, business owners and leaders go into business because they are for themselves, because they are passionate about something that they want to achieve, accomplish, or create an income or a vision for their future. And what they don't know that they don't know is they don't have the answers. And many of them get up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 employees, do not have job descriptions. They don't have org charts. They don't understand leadership. They don't have core values. They don't know how to develop the culture in their business. And these are all easy things for you to learn. They're not complicated. But they don't have those things, and they need somebody to make sure that they're not just asking those questions, but they're holding them accountable to put those things in place because they are paramount to the success of every business. Did I just say every? I've said every business. And I will promise you, they're not doing those things. So you can be a powerful accountability partner. And again, this does not require you to be a successful business entrepreneur or have a degree in business. You just need to make sure you're holding them accountable to the right things that are moving their business forward. And then the third thing that you can do, so the second fill-in is powerful accountability partner. The third thing that you can do for them is you can help them transform their business, shift their business from where they are now to where they want it to be, from where they are now to where they want it to be. And this is where the thinking process comes into play once again. They need to change their thinking. They need to shift into, I don't know it all, I don't have all the answers, and I need to read some books that are going to help me transform my business. Now, you would need to know what those books are, and you would need to know how to do these things, because if they're reading the right books, they're reading books that will transform their thinking and their business acumen books so that they can also learn more about how to develop their business, how to develop their employees, how to become a better leader, how to work less hours and make more money. Let me say that again, real slow. How to work less hours and make more money. Now, you would have to know a bunch of really good books that incorporate transformation and that incorporate really powerful business lessons in them in order to do that. And so here's what I'm going to say. The third fill-in is transform their business or be a change agent for their business. And if you send me an email, Gary@businesscoach.com, I'll be saying this throughout the presentation today. If you send me an email to Gary@businesscoach.com, I will send you our recommended reading list. That's not just a list of New York best-selling books, New York Times best-selling books. It will be a list of books that we have gone through hundreds and hundreds of different people and clients and students and associates of ours that have read these books and made sure that they are a not recommended client reading list, but a required client reading list, so that as you're coaching them, holding them accountable, they are reading books that are going to develop the thinking process that they have and take them from where they are now, A, to the point B, where they want to be in approximately 1 year. Okay, so I'll let you digest a little bit about that, and I'll ask my team at Orange County Central there, do we have any questions we want to answer now, or should I move on and we'll get some questions in a moment?
Oh, yes, Gary. Hi. Yes, so far, no questions, guys. Any, oh, Donna Leah. I'm sorry. Donna Leah has a raised hand. Donna, are you able to, hold on, let me unmute you. Okay. Here you go, Donna. I think you're on mute.
I actually,
Great.
yeah. Hi, I'm just listening intently, and I moved and hit my mouse, and I don't have a question. I'm sorry.
That's totally fine. Good to hear you, that you're
I
listening.
didn't realize. Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute you. Okay.
All right, keep going.
Thank you.
Karen, while we're regrouping here, I'll ask everyone a question and they can type in their answers, okay?
Perfect.
So I'll make it so easy that all those people that can just hit their chat box and answer the question. Here's my poll question for everybody today. Are you making the income that you desire, and do you have the coaching lifestyle that you want? Are you making the income that you desire in your coaching business, and do you have the lifestyle that you want? So you should design your coaching business as a lifestyle business, so you can, for example, my wife has a separate business, and my wife and I travel quite frequently, and we can travel and take our business with us because we've set it up so that all of our systems, processes, and our relationship to our clients all can be done through the internet. So we can travel and take our business with us. Okay, we call that a lifestyle business.
Nice. Well, we've got some answers there for you. Yeah, we've got Dave, our president, even is understanding how hard this can be. He's got a no on that question. We've got a not yet. We've got an income no and a lifestyle almost from Tony. An income no, yes to lifestyle from Edward. Another no. Oh God, this thing is adding. It's going forward as I'm trying to read it.
Go too fast.
Let me just say, it's all pretty much no's, and I know I definitely perked up when you said, basically talking about working less and making more. So
okay, good, and that's what most.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much on the no on the question.
Okay, all right. So we got a first group of answers to our poll. So let's move forward and you can still keep typing those in if you like. Karen can give me another tally in a few minutes when we take a breath. Let's get to our topic at hand, finding your edge. What are clients looking for in a coaching relationship with you? And that's a curious question, and I'm going to give you some really great answers. And before we get into the exact answer to that, let's take a look at in your coaching business, in your relationship with your clients, in the meetings that you have, the coaching sessions that you have with your clients, are you 100% clear of the intention and the outcome that you want to create? Are you 100% clear with this is a This is not a poll question. I'm asking in general, are you clear about the intention and the outcome? You see, if we're not clear about the intention and the outcome for our business, like written out, my intention is I want to have 5 clients by the end of next month. My intention is I want clients to refer business to me because they're so pleased with the kind of coaching that I bring to the table. So if your intention is not 100% clear that you deliver with each and every client relationship, then I'm going to say that's a breakdown. And you should be very, very clear. And here's what I do. When I meet with a potential client, for example, I usually get to the appointment. If I drive to them, and I don't always drive, sometimes it's on Zoom or Skype, I write down my intention. And my intention is that I want them to see businesscoach.com and Coach Gary as a resource for their business like no other resource available. So I want to pour into them. I want to bring my best to that meeting. And sometimes the way that I do that is not talking too much. Sometimes it's listening. Sometimes it's asking some questions and then shutting up and letting them talk about their business. And sometimes it's getting very intentional about how's that working for you? Like how many hours a week are you working? And how does your family feel about that? I got a wonderful, wonderful client that lasted with me for 2 years, 200 employees, and the president, the founder of the company, was ready to exit the meeting, and he said, "Is there any other question you want to ask?" And I said, "Yes, just one final question. How many hours a week would you say that you work?" And when his answer was 70, I came back with the next question after I paused for a little bit and said, "How's your family feel about that?" And he responded to me by saying, "How much is it going to cost me to have you coach me every month?" He didn't even ask how I would approach that or how we were going to achieve that. He just merely got it that having an accountability partner, somebody in his life that could talk to him about his business and hold him accountable and talk to him about the relationship he had with his 200 employees was significant. And it came because my intention was very, very clear. I knew exactly what I wanted to say to him to get him out of the fact that I've got plenty of money, I got a lot of employees, my business is very successful, but yet there was a missing element. And as it turned out, I worked with him for just under 2 years, and then took a year off, came back and did another year with him down the road. And working with him, not only did he work less hours, he cut his hours from 70 hours a week down to 15 hours a week, increased his income, increased the revenue in the organization. But everybody in the organization got better. So be clear about your intention, and then what's the outcome that you want to create? If we go into meetings, coaching sessions, if we work with our clients or potential clients, we go into the meeting and we're not clear and we don't write down the outcome that we want to have for that session, for that meeting, for that client, then maybe our mind wanders and we're not clear. So I get to my potential clients early, 15 minutes early, and I write out the intention and the outcome. And typically the outcome is something like this. The outcome is I want them to be so touched, moved, and inspired, so inspired by the two-way dialogue that we created, by what I brought to the table for them potentially to be their coach, that they either sign an agreement with me right on the spot, or they say, let's have a second meeting and let's go deeper. Or they say, I have a referral for you. I know somebody who needs exactly what you have in mind, exactly what you have. So how do we do this? If we don't have a business degree, if we don't have a lot of business background, there's 3 things that we can bring to the table. We're outside objective opinion, accountability partner, and we help them transform the business. What does transformation look like is my next question to you, and here's your answer. And that is in your next handout. You should have a handout that is called section number 2. And in the interest of time, I'm going to go over this a little bit quickly, but I'm going to focus on one area that's really, really powerful in the domain of transformation. You see, according to Albert Einstein said that there are 3 different areas of knowledge. He called them the domains of knowledge. And most of you have heard bits and pieces of this, but I'm going to bring to the table today what I believe is the real meat, the real value in this conversation. According to Albert Einstein, he said there's 3 different domains of knowledge, and we've put them into a pie chart here. The upper 2 are supposed to be about 15% of all possible knowledge, and the bottom one is about 70%. So the way I explain this to my potential clients and my clients, once they sign an agreement with me, but when I'm in a demonstration with them, when I'm presenting to them and doing a initial coaching session, meet the coach session, I bring this out and I say, according to Albert Einstein, the 3 domains of knowledge are about 15%, 15%, and 70%. One 15% areas are things that you know, the upper left-hand side of your pie chart. And we all know that there are things that we know that we know. I know how to get dressed in the morning. I know how to drive a car. I know how to coach clients. I know how to comb my hair. And so we know that we know those things, and we don't get up in the morning and make lists of them, but we're 100% clear that there's a list if we were asked. And in that list would be the answer to the question, yes, I know how to do that. And 100% opposite of that are things that I know that I don't know. And again, to keep the ball rolling, that's in your upper right-hand corner of your section 2 handout. And the things that you know that you don't know are, like, for me, I don't know how to fly an airplane. I don't know how to run a 5-minute mile. And I don't know how to do brain surgery. And again, I don't get up in the morning and I don't say to myself, why don't I know how to do brain surgery? It's something that I elected not to learn how to do. It's not significant for me. If I wanted to learn how to do it, I would have gone to medical school and I would have become a doctor. But that brings us to the 3rd category, which a lot of people joke around about. It's a very serious conversation for you to have with your clients. What are the things that you don't know that you don't know? Now, we commonly refer to these as blind spots. And again, you can use this document if you want with your clients, if you'd like, and potential clients. Take our logo off of it and put yours on there. Usually, by the way, I draw this out for a potential client. I have this memorized. I draw it out for a potential client, and I do that right in front of them on a piece of paper or on a dry erase board, and get a 2-way dialogue going so that they can actually experience this. But because today we had it in the form of a handout, we're giving you all the information at once. So the 3rd category is you don't know what you don't know. Now, here's the significant part about what you don't know that you don't know. We joke around a lot about this, but really what it means is that if I'm looking for this pen and the pen is outside of my view, no matter which way that I turn and no matter how hard I try to see this pen, if it's behind me, I'll never locate the pen until somebody brings it forward to me, brings it to my attention. Here's where the pen is, Coach Gary. It's behind you. You needed somebody else to see that. You need an outside objective opinion. You need somebody from the outside to point that out to you. Now, this is where transformation takes place. This is where breakthroughs occur. And this is where in this domain is where people change the thinking process that they have. And they begin to shift their thinking from I know it all to maybe there's something that I don't know. Now, here's the trick to this particular document. Where do we go in today's world? Where do we go to find information? Where do we search out information? Well, we go to the internet. Some people answer Google, but the real answer is we go to the internet. We put into a search bar. If you don't know that something exists, then what do you put in the search bar? You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have all thought in our past that business people have answers and they know certain things about business. And that's not accurate. I'm here to tell you that in this 31 plus years of doing business with organizations, it is astounding to me. It is astounding to me how little they really understand about their business. Some people are good at marketing and they focus on marketing, and they're really good at getting clients, but they can't keep them. Other people are good at customer service and they can lead an organization and do really good product development and customer service, but they don't know how to market. Most business owners and leaders don't know how to relate to their employees or set up an organization that is run smoothly and has systems and processes in place. And they don't know that they don't know that those things exist. They don't know that they don't know that those things exist. And we have tools for you and ways that you can very inexpensively, like this recommended reading list, get the information to these people and teach them how to be better at business, to teach them how to be better at business. Okay, Karen, I'll take a quick breath here before I hit the home stretch and ask if there's any questions that I can answer before we go further.
All right. Any questions, you guys, so far? Want to give you a second to check in here. Thank you for reminding everybody about the workbook, Gary. I said I would remind him, and right before the webinar started, and then poof, went out of my head. I think we're good. Oh, hold on. We got one from Rhonda. How do you break through resistance when things they need to know will help them transform?
How do you break through resistance when things they need to know will help them transform?
Yes.
I have a couple of different answers. In the interest of time, I will answer as best I can and as quickly as I can. Number one, these books that I talk about on this required reading list, not recommended reading list, this is required. So when we sign an agreement with our clients, there's also a ground rules for coaching. And as they become a client, it says in the 11 different ground rules for coaching that they will do their assignments, that they will take on looking for those things that they don't know. We use a little different language, but for the sake of this conversation, that they will not stop themselves because they don't like what you said or don't like what you've asked them to do, that they'll push through and that they'll be coachable. And a lot of times that's in the reading assignments that they have. And a lot of times it's the books that they read or the homework assignments we give them. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the presentation today, should we have time. So you're there to hold them accountable, and they need to understand that part of being coachable is letting go of the resistance. 4 different categories of coachability. Most of you have not heard this before. There's not coachable, one level of coachability. They're not coachable at all. There's a second level that's called selectively coachable. I'll take your coaching when I feel like it's what's really good for me, if I like what you have to say. There's reluctantly coachable, and that is, I don't like what you're asking me to do. And internally, I have a resistance to it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Then there's completely coachable. My coach tells me what I want to do, what I need to do, and I trust my coach. And I'm going to follow through because my coach knows what's best for me. My coach wouldn't have me pay him or her a fee and then tell me to do something that's going to be anything but constructive to my business. Okay, so we're hitting the home stretch here, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're going to get into deeper into the meat of the tools that you're going to need to develop to understand what your clients are really looking for in a relationship with you. And here's how this goes. This was taught to me by a very brilliant marketing guy, and I've been using these tools for years, and it's so powerful, so very powerful. Okay, so here's what we need to do. We need to understand that the only way that we're going to know if our clients or potential clients are getting what they want, we simply need to be able to ask them the question. Now, don't get distracted here for a minute. We're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. We have 3 levels of this conversation. So we're going to need to know what questions to ask our clients in order for us to understand what they really are looking for in a coach-client relationship with us. Okay, and so here's the and we've got to be careful to listen. We've got to be careful to listen for their language. So I'm gonna have you write this question down that I'm gonna give you, and then I'm gonna ask you that when you do this with your clients, that you write down their answer verbatim, as closely word for word as you can. In every coaching session, in every potential coaching session, I want you to ask your clients and potential clients, what's the number one thing you get out of having this coaching session with me today? What's the number one takeaway from our coaching session today? Now, I've had so many people in these presentations say, I already do that, or I've done that. I've had so many people say, I was taught that from ABC Coach Training Company, and so on and so forth. How many of you are actually doing this? After every session, what was the number one takeaway you got out of our session today? Now, if you have one client and you ask that person that once a week and you're meeting with them weekly and they give you a different answer, I want you to write that down in the language that they explain it to you in, word for word, verbatim. And we're going to use that information here in a minute. Let me show you how. So the first obvious thing you're going to get out of this relationship with your client is that you're going to know that what they're doing, what they're getting is exactly what you're delivering. Or you might get a surprise. They may say to you, well, actually, what I get out of the sessions are, you're someone that I can talk with and have a dialogue with, but really what I was looking for is a much stronger accountability partner, or someone to bring some different ideas to the table, something different, and you're not doing that. So you can make the change, you can shift, apologize and say, great, starting next time we meet, I will bring that application to you, and we'll all bring that. And I want to know from your perspective, what's the number one thing that you got out of the session today? And if I'm not getting it, then if I'm not bringing it, then I want to make sure that I bring that from this point forward. But here's a subtle change in how we're going to use that information, how we're going to powerfully use that information. And that is that, think about this. If you ask them, what's the number one thing you get out of our coaching session today, and you have 3 clients, and you ask them that each session for a month, you're going to get 12 answers, which could be all the same. They could be similar. They could be different language. They could be 2 or 3 different nuggets. And how powerful is that nugget to use, those nuggets to use in the next presentation you do with a potential client. So you take the language and you now understand that when your clients say to me, the number one thing I got out of our session today and last week and the previous week is having an accountability partner, and you go to your next client and they say the same thing, and you go to a potential client and they say, what I'm really looking for is an accountability partner, you now know what language to use when you sit in front of potential clients. But wait, here's another thing. Even better yet, you know what language to put on your business cards, on your brochures, on your website, on your blogs, your posts, advertising, Facebook, if you're putting a post on Facebook, anything. I'm the accountability guru. I'm the one that brings accountability to the table, because now you know in their words that that's what they're looking for in having a relationship with you. They need a powerful accountability partner. Now, here's some other things that other people have said to me that that are things that they liked about the relationship, and not just having the accountability partner. They say that I like having somebody that I can share ideas with, and I just need to get things off of my chest. I need to talk to somebody else about it. Other things they say, I like the way you help me hold my employees accountable. You hold me accountable to hold my employees accountable, so that when I need to have them do something, and it's really significant in our operation, you say to me, okay, next week I'm going to ask you about that and make sure that you did that. Or they're going to hire a new employee, and I'm so excited because you're holding me accountable, because I've been talking about putting a posting out to get a new employee for months and months and months, and now it's time to do that. I'll work less hours and I'll perform better if I have that other additional employee to bring to the table. So these are things that people tell me all the time. And it's significant in the relationship that you want to have with them. So next I want to go into another question that I want you to ask your clients and potential clients. And by the way, if you don't have any clients and you don't have any potential meetings with clients, the next thing for you to do is to get out there and get that done. And as you're doing that, and as you're meeting with people, ask them the same question. What are you looking for in a relationship with a business coach? And then the second question, and we're going to use the second question the same way, is what do you feel is the most value you get out of having me as your coach? What do you think is the most value you get out of having me as your coach? Now, this is a slightly different question. And when you tally all these up and you get the answers, I promise you can use these things as powerful tools with each client relationship. You might have 3 clients and 2 of them give you an answer, and the third one you're not doing that with. You might ask that third client, is having me as your accountability partner something that's been missing in the relationship? And that's what you want in a coach? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I was going to bring it up, but I was too embarrassed to bring it up. And then in their head, but I was just going to let you go, fire you, and just not have a coach. But thank you for bringing it up, and let's do that. And again, all these answers, write them down exactly the way they are giving you them, word for word, and use it with each client relationship and as a tool when you're marketing yourself, branding yourself, and using that to present yourself. If you're the accountability person, put yourself out there. That's your niche. I'm the one that holds people accountable to have what they want. I'm the one that that holds people accountable because they want to hit their goals, and they use me to hit their goals. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not rocket science. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not that complicated. Okay, please turn your attention to section number 3 handout. And I'm now going to give you a tool that you can use if you don't know what to ask your clients, if you don't know how to develop a coaching session, if you don't know how to work with business owners or leaders, and you're intimidated by that, and so far I haven't convinced you yet to be not intimidated by that, then here's a tool that works with every one of my clients in every coaching session, and it just becomes so significant, it's just like too easy to use. This tool here is in section number 3 handout, is, for those of you that are driving or making notes and don't have the handout, it's 4 simple questions you can ask your clients in any coaching relationship. What's working? What's not working? what's missing, and what's next. What's working, what's not working, what's missing, and what's next. So there have been times when I've gotten a little too busy and I didn't have time to prepare for a coaching session. I'm walking to a meeting with a leader of an organization, maybe has 150, 200 employees, and he thinks of himself, he's got a big ego and he thinks of himself as a big dog, and he wants to maximize his relationship with me, and I'm maybe not prepared. Maybe I left my client file back at the office, and I don't remember exactly where we're gonna go. So I asked my client, did you do your assignment for this last week? What did you get done? What didn't you get done? And we'll talk for a little while, and they'll say, okay, so what else are we going to talk about today? I'll say, okay, great. Let's make a list of what's working, what's not working, what's missing, and what's next. Now, obviously, it's easy for them to come up with things that are working. You can prod them. After you do this for a little while, it's really easy to come up with ideas like, are your employees being productive? Are you hitting your numbers? Are you hitting your goals? Do you feel like you're following through with your vision, etc.? So what's working is easy to fill out. What's not working sometimes is a little bit tough for them, but it's a powerful exercise to take a look at what's not working in their business. Now, here's what's interesting. Our focus as clients should be, particularly when working with business owners, we should be not looking at what they're doing good, bad, right, or wrong. We shouldn't be looking at why aren't they doing this or why aren't they doing that. We should be looking at what's missing. So what's missing is the most significant part of a conversation, in my opinion, any coach can have with a client. What's missing in your world right now, in your business right now? The difference of which, if it was not missing, you could move forward and results would begin to show up. You could move forward and results would begin to show up. So what's working, what's not working, and what's missing gets you to that point. And what's next is what's not working and what's missing becomes an action list of items that you hold them accountable to in order for them to get results in their business. What results are we talking about? The results that they're not getting in their business right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize if a lot of this information seemed so simple and so easy to apply. I apologize if many of you have heard some of bits and pieces of some of these things before, but I am here to tell you that these are key tenets in a relationship between a business owner and a coach. And you too can coach businesses by using these tools and paying attention to what you learned today, because really all you have to do is make a list of what's working, what's not working, what's working, what's not working, what's missing. That'll tell you what's next. And what's not working and what's missing is an action list of items that you hold the business owner accountable for in order for them to achieve results in their business and in their personal life. So what's missing? I don't know how to work less hours and increase my income. Great. Let's take a look at your schedule. Let's take a look at your day-to-day activities. Let's take a look at what you think is important, and let's prioritize the things that are missing and not working, and take a look at where you can delegate those things and how you can have somebody else support you in getting the kind of results that you're up to. So Karen, I'm going to swing back to you. Let's get some Q&A going if you want. And I want to make sure that we stop on time. I tried to tailor make this to the minute so that we'd have time for Q&A and we wouldn't keep people past an hour.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. And I think I speak for everyone with no apology necessary on if we've heard this before. It's kind of foundational. And I think it's good to hear again, because you hear it early maybe, and then you go out and be a coach and you have to then tend to all these other things that come into your life as a coach or as a small business, or as a new owner or a new entrepreneur. And then to revisit this, and for those of you hearing it for the first time, it was very, very informative and a good grounding. So I thank you for that. Guys, if you have questions, please pop them in. It's a couple minutes before, it's a couple minutes before 12. So Gary was gracious enough to allow us some extra time. Glenda said,
while you're looking for questions, let me give a couple of pieces of information. So again, if you want the client reading list of powerful transformational books that are business-oriented books, they're all bestsellers, but we've handpicked them out of the best, specifically for coach-client relationships and for assignments for clients to do the work. You can email me, Gary@businesscoach.com, Gary, 1R, Gary@businesscoach.com, and I'll be happy to send you a copy of that list. Give me a couple of days. My Outlook just went down this morning, so I'm going to have to do a little triage and repair here to get my Outlook back up going. Also, if you go to businesscoach.com, you can scroll down. There's a section just for coaches, and there's lots of free resources there. You can look at our Thrive Business Academy for Coaches, which is only $19.97 a month. And it has 60 recordings of previous sessions that I've done, not for ICF specifically, but for the Thrive Business Academy. There's all kinds of free resources and tools and things that you can get. Businesscoach.com, scroll down to the box that says for coaches, and you got all kinds of good tools there for you.
Awesome.
Karen.
And we also put that in the chat for you guys. We have 2 questions, Gary, and I'm going to give them both to you so you can kind of maybe speak to both, since we've got about 2.5 minutes here.
Okay.
The first question is, do you need to be familiar with the business world to engage as a business coach? That's question number 1. And the second question, so again, I'll read that. Do you need to be familiar with the business world to engage as a business coach? Second question is, can you speak to your pricing recommendation of the $500 hour / $2,000 retainer?
Yes, very good. Great questions. First one's a real simple answer. No, you don't have to have a lot of business background. For those of you that would consider moving your income up to $500 an hour, and again, I emphasize on a monthly retainer fee, minimum $2,000 per month. When you get up to 30 employees, it starts increasing by $500 per month increments. 30, 40, 50 employees, you just keep raising it, because not because you're going to be working harder, but because business owners understand there's a different level of communication at that. So if you want to get into business coaching and you would like to purchase our products, we have very simple ways for you to enter into the business coaching arena. If you don't, just get the recommended reading list and read the books, and you'll see ways where business owners really, really lack. Really, the one thing you can do for business owners and leaders to make them improve the quality of their business is to hold them accountable to reading these books that they literally should have read prior to going into business. They literally should have read them prior to going to business for themselves. And there's so many great tools in these books. It's just really simple to do that. About $500 an hour. It's very accepted in the business world to get paid this kind of money to do the kind of work that you do. Just think of it as simply business owners and leaders, if they can't do this on their own, if they can't provide this kind of results for themselves, to pay $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 for a monthly retainer fee is nothing for them. I've had larger corporations pay $8,000 or $10,000 per month in a retainer fee, and they don't take up a lot of my time. They want to get right to the point and say, I got a problem, help me fix this. What are your answers, and what are the solutions that you have? There's one other thing that any of you might want to take a look at that we have at businesscoach.com. There's a thing called our client workbook, Strategies to Future-Proof Your Business. It's 1 full year's worth of homework assignments for your clients, and that's a quick way for you to learn about business. It's only $350 plus shipping and handling, or you can get it online. It's a nice tool to get people to integrate themselves into a business mindset and see the incredible value you bring to the table as a business coach.
That's awesome, Gary. Thank you for that. That's fantastic. You'll be getting an email from me shortly because I want that list. I'm very curious. So you'll be getting that for sure, and I can't wait to check out your website. And there's got a lot of thank yous in the chat here for you, so I really appreciate. I know Dave and Nanor, we all appreciate your time, as everyone here. And,
very much. Yes, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And we're just coming on to time, so thanks you guys for hanging out. We are having a live chapter meeting on September 26th, so hopefully we can see some of you there. And we have Petra, our board member, is doing a great webinar next month I'm very excited for. And so you can check that out on our website, icforangecounty.org. Gary, thank you so much. If my plane gets delayed tomorrow, I'll call you for coffee. Since I'm flying out of
great.
Sacramento.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, everybody, and thanks for being such great hosts.
Oh, you're great too. Thank you, guys. Noah,
pleasure.
good seeing you guys too. And
yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
And don't forget the survey that's coming to you where you'll get the CCEUs.
That's right.
And a recording of this webinar.
That's right. Get your CCEUs, everybody. All right. Bye, gang.